Hello students. Now today we'll try to understand that how do we deal with a system of non-homogeneous equations involving three variables x, y and z. Now we have already looked at two cases. The first case was a system of two variables, three equations, and the second case was a system of homogeneous equations in three variables, right? So now we move further to the more general system, which is a non-homogeneous system of linear equations. Now how do we actually solve this system? This particular algorithm of the solution was suggested by a mathematician called Cramer. So this is often called Cramer's rule of solving the system. That suppose you have these three equations. Now observe that you have to keep the equation in this particular form. The constant term should be on the right side. ठीक है ना, constant term हमेशा right side पे होना चाहिए. And then on the basis of these three equations will form four determinants d, d1, d2 and d3. We'll make these four determinants from this particular system of three equations. Now the first determinant d is simply a coefficient determinant. This is the coefficient determinant. This is d, right? This is coefficient determinant. And if you observe this determinant carefully, what you find is that the coefficients of x appear in the first column, the coefficients of y appear in the second column, and coefficients of z appear in the third column. So this is how this coefficient determinant is obtained. Now the next thing is, how do we find d1, right? So for d1 there is a slightly different approach. What you have to do is to calculate d1 calculate करने के लिए what we do is we replace the elements of, let's look here, it is obtained by replacing the column of d by d1, d2, d3. So what it actually means is the first column of d, now this was the first column of d, you have to replace this column with d1, d2, d3, that is the constants on the right side. The constants on the right side, you have to replace this column with d1, d2, d3, right? So what we obtain here is this is d1, d2, d3. Instead of this one, we replace d1, d2, d3 with a1, a2, a3, and the remaining columns are same. So b1, b2, b3 and c1, c2, c3 are same. So d1 is simply obtained by replacing, it is obtained by replacing the first column of d by d1, d2 and d3. तो सबसे पहले d कैलकुलेट कर लो, कोफिशिएंट डिटरमिनेंट आ गया, दिस इज कोफिशिएंट डिटरमिनेंट, और एक बार कोफिशिएंट डिटरमिनेंट आ गया तो उसके फर्स्ट कॉलम में a1, a2, a3 की जगह d1, d2, d3 कर देंगे. दैट्स इट, इट्स सिंपल, राइट? सिमिलरली वी फाइंड d2. तो अब d2 कैसे कैलकुलेट होता है? नाउ d2 इज ऑब्टेन्ड बाय रिप्लेसिंग द सेकेंड कॉलम ऑफ d बाई d1, d2, d3. तो हमने क्या करा था कि कोफिशिएंट डिटरमिनेंट में सबसे पहले हमने फर्स्ट कॉलम को चेंज किया था d1, d2, d3 से, तो हमें d1 मिल गया था. अब की बार हम सेकेंड कॉलम चेंज करेंगे. नाउ दिस टाइम विल चेंज दिस सेकेंड कॉलम, और जब सेकेंड कॉलम हम चेंज करेंगे तो b1, b2, b3 की जगह हम d1, d2, d3 कर देंगे. सो व्हाट आई गेट इज वी हैव चेंज द सेकेंड कॉलम. सो दिस इज d1, d2, d3, वी हैव चेंज दिस, है ना? यहाँ पे ये जो b1, b2, b3 था, इसकी जगह हमने d1, d2, d3 ले लिया और बचे हुए दोनों कॉलम्स सेम रखे हैं. तो दिस इज अगेन a1, a2, a3 एंड दिस इज ऑल्सो c1, c2, c3. दीज टू आर सेम, ठीक है? एंड इन द सिमिलर फैशन we can calculate d3, and d3 is obtained by replacing the third column of d by d1, d2 and d3. तो अब की बार हमको क्या करना है कि जो हमारा कोफिशिएंट डिटरमिनेंट था, नाउ दिस वाज द कोफिशिएंट डिटरमिनेंट a1, a2, a3, b1, b2, b3, c1, c2, c3. तो हम क्या करेंगे कि इसका जो थर्ड कॉलम है, ये जो कॉलम है, इस कॉलम की जगह हम d1, d2, d3 कर देंगे. तो एज अ रिजल्ट यू विल गेट दिस पर्टिकुलर डिटरमिनेंट. लुक हियर, दिस इज d1, d2, d3 एंड दीज टू कॉलम्स आर सेम. जो डी में थे वही हैं. तो कुल मिला के, नाउ टू समराइज दिस, you first have to find the coefficient determinant D, replace the first column with D1, D2, D3 to obtain D1, then replace the second column, this is column 1, replace the second column with D1, D2, D3, you obtain D2, and then replace the third column with D1, D2, D3 to obtain D3. So overall we'll get 4 determinants here. We'll get D, which is the coefficient determinant, then you get D1, you get D2, and you get D3. So the Cramer's rule is actually, the solution of this system is actually based on the values of these 4 determinants. हमें इन चारों की values calculate करनी पड़ेगी. Now obviously this would be a bit lengthy, क्योंकि अभी तक हमने homogeneous system में सिर्फ एक determinant check करते थे, that was coefficient determinant, और 2 variable 3 इक्वेशंस में भी हम सिर्फ एक ही डिटर्मिनेंट चेक करते थे, लेकिन यहाँ पे हमें 4 डिटर्मिनेंट चेक करने हैं. तो एज अ रिजल्ट ये थोड़ा सा लेंथी होगा, लेकिन टफ नहीं है. इट्स लेंथी बट इट इज़ नॉट टफ, जो कि अभी हम इलस्ट्रेशंस में देखेंगे भी आगे. नाउ आफ्टर कैलकुलेटिंग दीज 4 डिटर्मिनेंट्स D, D1, D2 and D3, there will be 3 possibilities. Now the first case is suppose this D is not equal to 0. If D is not equal to 0, यदि D बच्चों 0 नहीं आता, कोफिशिएंट डिटरमिनेंट 0 नहीं आता, तो दिस implies that the system has unique solution. Now obviously unique solution मतलब होगा कि सिस्टम कंसिस्टेंट भी है. रिकॉल दैट कंसिस्टेंट मतलब होता है कम से कम एक सोल्यूशन आएगा. तो अगर D नॉन जीरो आ रहा है, कोफिशिएंट डिटरमिनेंट नॉन जीरो है, तो सिस्टम यूनिक सोल्यूशन देगा, यानी कंसिस्टेंट भी होगा और यूनिक सोल्यूशन भी देगा. और बाय क्रेमर्स रूल ये जो सिस्टम है इसमें एक्स वाई जेड की वैल्यूज़ क्या क्या होंगी वो इससे आएंगी. यू विल गेट एक्स इज इक्वल टू D1 अपॉन D, द वैल्यू ऑफ एक्स इज D1 अपॉन D, दिस इज द वैल्यू ऑफ एक्स. द वैल्यू ऑफ वाई इज D2 अपॉन D, and the value of z is D3 upon D. Now we have already calculated D1, D2, D3, and we have calculated D, and since D was non-zero, so obviously these 3 values can easily be obtained. तो यदि कोफिशिएंट डिटरमिनेंट नॉन जीरो आता है तो फिर सिस्टम आपको पक्का जो है यूनिक सोल्यूशन देगा. और वो यूनिक सोल्यूशन कैसे आते हैं? यू कैन ऑब्टेन दोज यूनिक सोल्यूशंस बाय सिंपली कैलकुलेटिंग x as D1 upon D, y as D2 upon D, and z as D3 upon D, right? So we obtain unique values of x, y and z. But what happens if D is 0? Now what happens if D is 0? So in case suppose if D is equal to 0, in that case you have to check 2 things. If D is 0, you have to check 2 things, कि all of D1, D2, D3 are 0, मतलब D तो 0 ही और D1, D2, D3 तीनों 0 हैं. ऑल ऑफ D1, D2, D3 आर 0. या तो क्या ये हो रहा है, या फिर इज इट दिस, और इज इट लाइक एटलीस्ट वन ऑफ D1, D2, D3 इज नॉन जीरो. ऑब्वियसली यही 2 केसेस हो सकते हैं कि या तो तीनों 0 होंगे या फिर तीनों में कम से कम एक नॉन जीरो होगा. यदि तीनों 0 आ जाते हैं, D तो 0 था ही, और यदि D1, D2, D3 भी तीनों 0 आ गए, तो फिर इसका मतलब हुआ बच्चों कि दिस सिस्टम विल बी हैविंग infinite solutions. The system has infinite solutions. और ये जो infinite solutions होते हैं, ये मुझे पता है कि geometrically these infinite solutions will either lie on a plane. If all the 3 planes are coincident, in that case all the solutions will lie on a plane, or these 3 solutions can also lie on a straight line. If the plane are intersecting on the straight line, in that case you get P1, P2, P3. और मुझे पता है कि जितने भी solutions आएंगे, ये सारे solutions इस वाली straight line पर आएंगे. तो you have infinite solutions, and these infinite solutions can either lie on a plane, or these infinite solutions can lie on a straight line. And if at least one of D1, D2, D3 is non-zero, then this implies that the system is inconsistent. It implies that the system is inconsistent and has no solution. इस केस में सिस्टम इनकंसिस्टेंट होगा और इसका कोई सोल्यूशन भी नहीं होगा, ठीक है। तो दिस इज द बेसिक आइडिया। आपको सबसे पहले क्या करना है, यू फर्स्ट हैव टू लाइक टू स्टार्ट द एल्गोरिथम, इट वर्क्स इन दिस वे। नाउ लेट्स समराइज दिस एल्गोरिथम. So how it starts is, we start the calculations by find d, d1, d2, d3, right? Now we know how to find d, d1, d2, d3. d तो coefficient determinant हो गया, d1, d2, d3 are obtained by replacing respectively the first, second, third columns with small d1, d2, d3. To find this, right? Now you have to take a decision here कि is d equal to 0, is d equal to 0, है ना? There are two options, yes it is 0, no it is not 0. So if it is not 0, then the system has unique solution. The three planes will intersect on a point, and these solutions are given by x is equal to d1 upon d. Then we check, are all of d1, d2, d3 equal to 0? So again this gives you two options, yes, no. So if all of d1, d2, d3 are 0, then it means the system is giving you, the system gives you infinitely many solutions. The system gives you infinitely many solutions. And if all of d1, d2, d3 are non-zero, then this implies the system is inconsistent. System is this is the general algorithm of checking whether a system of non-homogeneous system is consistent or inconsistent, or whether it gives you some unique solutions or infinitely many solutions. And if it gives you unique solution, then what are the unique solutions, right? So to illustrate this, we take an example now. Let's take a simple example. Now the question is, you are given a system of non-homogeneous equations, and you have to check whether the system is consistent or not, and then you have to solve the system also. You have to find the solutions also. So let's see how do we proceed with this question. It's a simple question, but it is very conceptual. So we first find the coefficient determinant delta, which is, so let's calculate its value. We expand it along the first row simply, plus 25. So now this will simplify to 16, and this gives you delta is 0. Now as soon as I get that delta is 0, delta equal to 0 immediately gives me two possibilities. One option is, maybe the system has infinite solutions, or maybe the system has no solution. Alright, so now we have to check कि ये वाला केस है या फिर ये वाला केस है. You have to check this. और इसको चेक करने का तरीका क्या होगा कि we'll start with the calculations of delta 1. We'll first find delta 1. Now the value of delta 1 will be 3, 8, 14. We replace this first column with these elements 3, 8, 14, and then we get 2, 4. ठीक है, और अब इसको थोड़ा सिंप्लीफाई कर लेते हैं. तो we again expand it along the first only, so we get 3 times minus 24 plus 70. So what we get here is 70 minus 24 is 46. So I get delta 1 is 0. But then again, do not rush to the conclusion that the system is having infinite solutions. You still have to check. You should check delta 2 and delta 3 also. So now we'll find delta 2. So let's calculate delta 2 here. Delta 2 के लिए हम क्या करेंगे कि we'll simply replace the first column of delta or second column of delta with d1, d2, d3. So I get 3, 8, 14. Right? We are writing this particular element here, and then the remaining column was 1, 2, 4. So now we find the value of this expression, and this is simply, we again expand it along the first row, so you get 1 into 1 times 42 minus 40. Let's see what we get. So 32 minus 28 is 4 plus 2. So this is again 0. And then we finally calculate delta 3. So let's find delta 3 now. The first column is same, so you get 1, 3, 5. Second column, we again get 1 minus 5 minus 3. And the third column we get 3, 8, 14. 3, 8, 14, right? And again we expand this along the first column, first row, sorry. So we get 1 times minus 9 plus 25. So now this will simplify to, this is minus 46 this is minus 2, and 25 minus this is minus 48. So this is same as 0. So now what we find here is that in this particular situation, therefore we get all of delta, delta 1, delta 2, delta 3 are 0. All of them are 0, and therefore the system is consistent and has infinitely many solutions. The system is consistent and has infinitely many, all right. The system becomes consistent and has infinitely many solutions. Now there is one more part to the problem. This is, you have to solve the system also. You have to also find the solutions. So now how do I find infinitely many solutions? How do I write these? How do I, because Cramer's rule हम ये नहीं लगा सकते. I cannot apply this formula कि the value of I cannot use this x is equal to d1 upon d या y is equal to d2 upon d. ये गलत हो जाएगा, because अभी तो ये तो तभी applicable होता है. This is applicable only when d is non-zero. This can be applied only when d is non-zero, but in this case the value of d is 0. So I cannot apply this. This would be incorrect. I cannot apply this formula. Then how do I calculate the solutions? How do I calculate the solutions, right? So to calculate the solutions from, like, whenever you have infinite solutions and you have to find those solutions, the approach is very simple. All you have to do is put z equal to k. You can also put x or y equal to k. So let's say we put z equal to k, and then we find x and y in terms of k. We find x and y in terms of k. So let's say if I look at the equations again, the first equation was x plus y plus z equal to 3. So you had the first equation, x plus y plus z is equal to 3, and the second equation was plus 2z is equal to 8. So these were two equations, right? So what we do is I put z equal to k. तो हम z की जगह बच्चों यहाँ पे k रख देते हैं. So now I get two equations from here. This implies x plus y is equal to 3 minus k, and 3x minus 5y is equal to 8 minus 2k. This is first equation, this is second equation, and all you have to do is simply find the values of x and y in terms of k alone. So now I am going to calculate x and y in terms of k, which is a very simple job actually. I multiply the first equation with 5x plus 5y is equal to 15 minus 5k. Leave the second equation as it was, 3x minus 5y is equal to 8 minus 2k, and then I add these equations, so I get 8x is equal to 23 minus 7k. So the value of x becomes 23 minus 7k upon 8. All right, and then once you have the value of x from this value, I can calculate y. So the value of y now becomes, from the first equation, y is equal to 3 minus k minus x. So I get 3 minus. So therefore the values of x, y and z are, therefore I get x is equal to 23 minus 7k upon 8, y is equal to 1 minus k upon 8, and z is equal to k, where k belongs to some real number, right? So when I put k equal to 0, for example, suppose if I put k equal to 0, I get one triplet of x, y, z. Let's say x will be 23 by 8, y will be 1 by 8, and z will be 0. Similarly, if you put, let's say, k equal to 1, you get some other triplet. So in this way we can generate infinitely many solutions by just keep on putting different values of k, and this is your final answer, right there, and therefore we are getting infinitely many solutions. Now although this is not relevant, it is not important, but then this is not important, so if you want you can skip this part, but still what I get from here is that the value of k becomes 23 minus 8x upon 7, and the value of k also can be written as 1 minus 8y, and the value of k can also be written as z. So if I equate these three values, I get 23 minus 8x upon 7 is equal to 1 minus 8y upon 1 is equal to z upon 1. And then at a later stage you will understand that this is nothing but the equation of straight line. This is equation of straight line in 3 dimension. In 3D, this represents the equation of a straight line. So that means that the solutions are lying on a straight line. And in case the solutions are lying on a straight line, then you obviously have infinitely many solutions. So these are the solutions, and this is the straight line on which the solutions will lie. Alright. So that means geometrically, maybe the planes, the 3 planes are of this type. Geometrically, the 3 planes that were given to us will be of this form, and the solution that we are getting from here is this particular straight line whose equation is given by this, right? And obviously we know that in such situations, इस वाली situations में हमें पता है कि हम किसी भी एक plane को, let's say maybe P3 can be written as lambda times P1 plus mu times P2. We can always do this because if there are 3 planes P1, P2, P3 and one of the plane passes through the line of intersection of the other 2 planes, we get this equation. Alright, so we get infinitely many solutions. All the solutions lie on the straight line, and the general solution will look like this particular form. And geometrically, the solutions, the 3 equations will represent 3 planes in this particular orientation. Let's say if I look at, this is how the top rankers generally work. If you look at, see, I need 5x here, right? So what I do is, let's say I multiply the first equation with 2. I multiply this equation with 2, and then I add first and second. Let's say what happens. So this first equation becomes 2x plus 2y plus 2z equal to 6. If I multiply with 2 on both the sides, the first equation looks like this, and the second equation looks like 3x minus 5y plus 2z is equal to 8. And if I add these 2 equations, I get 5x minus 3y plus 4z is equal to 14, which is precisely the third equation. So that means the third equation P3 is, the third equation P3 is 2 times P1 plus P2. And since this is of the form lambda P1 plus mu P2, therefore we clearly know that the geometry will look like this. The geometry has to be like this because this form represents an equation of a plane P3 passing through the line of intersection of P1 and P2. And as soon as I observe this, I can immediately claim that the system will be consistent and has infinitely many solutions. And to find the solutions, now you can straight away calculate. You can straight away calculate, put z equal to k and then find xy. So what we do is, this particular observation saves us lots of time in the computation. Now there was no need of calculating delta 1 or delta 2 or delta 3 or delta. A small observation कि हमने पहली इक्वेशन को 2 से मल्टीप्लाई करा, उसको सेकंड में ऐड किया तो हमें थर्ड मिल गई, तो इसका मतलब ये वाली सिचुएशन क्रिएट हो गई. एंड इफ व्हेनेवर यू हैव दिस सिचुएशन, इट विल ऑलवेज रिप्रेजेंट ज्योमेट्रिकली दिस ओरिएंटेशन ऑफ द प्लेन्स. और ये जो ओरिएंटेशन है, ये हमको दिखाता है कि ऑब्वियसली इनफाइनाइट सॉल्यूशंस होंगे. ऑल द सॉल्यूशंस विल लाई ऑन अ स्ट्रेट लाइन एंड द सिस्टम विल बी कंसिस्टेंट. और सोल्यूशन कैसे पता चल सकते हैं हमको? वी कैन सिंपली पुट z equal to k and find x and y in terms of k, right? So this is how we use the Cramer's rule in solving a non-homogeneous system.